My brothers in Arceus. We used to be able to buy Pokemon booster boxes for $80 a box. And now a brand new set that nobody wants is going for over $230. If you're just a normal everyday collector like me, not a shirtless, completely shaved, mog-maxing pro wrestler who scams his audience for a living, Logan Paul, then you and me are officially priced out of Pokemon cards. But here's the plot twist and the trick to allow you to keep collecting and investing in Pokemon cards for under $10 a card. And I'm not talking about Palisand, everyone's favorite Pokemon. I'm talking about Charizards, Mews, Mewtwo's, Rayquazas, Evolutions. There are cards out there right now around the $10 mark and under that are already 5, 10, even 15 years old and nobody's watching them. These older cards are about to explode and everybody's just focused on the newest hyper-modern Pokemon set. Whether it's Perfect Order, Destined Rivals, Phantasmal Flames, those are good sets, but they're focused on the wrong things. Sometimes you need to switch strategies, and this is how I did it. Come with me down the Bunnelby hole, rabbit hole, as I show you what you can do right now to keep collecting and investing in Pokemon in the cards that you actually want. And you can make a ton of money doing it. And stick around because in a few minutes I'm going to show you a trick that's hidden on TCGplayer that most people don't know about, no YouTubers are even talking about. Most people just scroll right past it without even looking at it. And it is one of the top tricks that I use to help me decide which cards are actually worth buying right now. So picture this, it's Tuesday night, I'm feeling a little nostalgic, so I hop on Pokemon Center, just vibing. Maybe I'll treat myself to a little something, right? Duh? Everything's out of stock. Okay, still vibing. Let's check TCGplayer. How about that new set? What is that set called? Oh yeah, Perfect Order. Let's check that one out. $210 for a brand new set that nobody wants. And everyone online is either screaming, the hobby is dead, or buy 50 cases right now. Meanwhile, I'm over here just trying to collect without taking out a second mortgage on my house, which I rent, so that's not really an option. How many of you have a closet full of $600 Destined Rivals booster boxes? Yeah, me neither. But there is a way. There is a way to still collect the Pokemon that you love and make massive gains while you're doing it. New stuff is stupid expensive. But like I showed you before, all those envelopes are the products I'm currently buying right now. Cards from older sets that already had their spikes have since cooled off and are actually cheaper now relative to their value than they were 2 years ago. We're talking Pokemon cards that are actually desirable. People just don't know they exist because they weren't around 5, 10, 15 years ago. And these sets already had their hype spike. Now they are just sitting cold. Okay, so what should you actually be buying? What specific cards? What cards did I buy? Well, I'm going to show you the actual cards I've been collecting and investing in over the past few weeks. Cards that are already 10, 15 years old, like I mentioned, and are only around $10 a piece. In general, of course, if you can get sealed Pokemon product at MSRP, then of course do it. It's a no-brainer move, and I still take advantage of doing that to this day. But let's be honest, that's incredibly hard to do. Unless you happen upon a drop at Target or Walmart, or you're willing to sit for 3 hours on the Pokemon Center every 3 months, you're just not getting any product at MSRP. So this is how you circumvent that, allowing yourself to still collect the Pokemon cards that you love and get something that most people don't have. And if you do it now, before the supply completely dries up, you'll be ahead of the game. Every set has already done this, and it's so consistent, it should be illegal. We're talking Black and White, XY, Sun and Moon, all of these sets have done this to some capacity, but those sets still have cards in them that have not seen their heyday. But here's the thing, 90% of people screw up when they try to make this switch from hypermodern sealed product to older singles. Sorry, literally as we're talking about this, I just got into the Chaos Rising Pokemon Center queue. Well, I passed through the queue and now I'm on the website. So like I said, if you can get product at MSRP, do it all day long. I'm doing it right now, give me a sec. Well, as you can see, no Pokemon Center ETBs left, of course, but I did get a booster box and 2 bundles. So let's get back to the video. Now, what actually pushes me over the edge and makes me hit buy on a card? Because I don't just randomly shop for singles at 2 a.m. Well, I do, but there's a method to the madness. See all this data that TCGplayer gives you? There's price history, market value, recent sales, all very useful, but tucked right here in tiny size 8 Arial font, like they're actively trying to hide it from you, is the quantity left available. This is the trick that I mentioned earlier. This number tells you exactly how many copies of this card are actually available to purchase right now across the entire platform. And let's be honest, TCGplayer more than carries its weight by just having this graph and this data available. If you're new to collecting or investing in Pokemon cards, you basically have 2 sites that everyone uses, eBay and TCGplayer. And lately, like the past 5 years, TCGplayer has really taken over because of this data that they have available for us to look at. They have a graph, recent sales data, all of this stuff. It's just way better than eBay. Not to mention the fees are a lot less. All right, so let's take a look at some of the cards that I've actually been purchasing. So like this card from Ancient Origins. Let's see, how old is this card? This card is already 11 years old. It's Lugia, it's a full art, it's an EX. The picture is amazing. It's just a badass card. And it's only $8. So if we scroll down here, you can see current quantity. Oh no, 180? Well, that's because we're not on near mint. Of course, if you don't know, certainly buy near mint. It's almost always worth it. Don't go for lightly played or especially moderately played or heavily played. Just spend the extra few dollars, buy near mint. So if we select the near mint option up here on the top left, you come back down here to the current quantity, there's only 29 available. And of course, if you buy out all 29 of these, more will get listed, but you'll already be in the green because the price will go up. So as you can see here, I have some of these in my cart, or at least these sellers in my cart. But this card, this Lugia EX, it's beautiful and it's only $7, $8, $8.38. But you could buy, you spend $100 and now the card is already $12, $13. You're already gaining like 30% just by buying all of them. Now, quick caveat here, of course, when you buy out all the cards that are listed, more will be listed. There are more of these cards. I'm not saying there's only 29 in existence, but there's only 29 available. And so you buy out a certain number of those, the new price point then becomes 30, 50, 60% higher. Now, again, when people see that, they're going to start listing their cards, which will then drive the price back down, but it's kind of a stair-stepping motion up and to the right forever. So here's another one, Dragonite EX. Let's select near mint. This one had a little bit more, and I do remember that when I purchased this. But even still, well, this says 103, but near mint says only 49 at the top. So this number is usually more correct. This is probably all 103 if you include all the condition variations. But like you can see, look at this chart. This isn't doing a lot of the swinging that some modern sets are. I mean, it does have that. Maybe about 8 months ago, it dipped down, but it's just been climbing steadily ever since. And again, this card, $7, $6, $6 from reputable sellers, at least this one at the top. And scroll down, $7, $7, not a bad price. Then we got the Giratina EX. This one was a little bit more expensive, but also had quite a few less cards available. So right now there are only 13 available. And this chart is way better even than the last one. The last one was still not super great, but when you get cards like this that are already 11 years old, like this Giratina, just badass Pokemon. It's just amazing Pokemon. Beautiful art. Again, it's another EX. It's 11 years old. It's Giratina, a popular Pokemon, especially right now. You get graphs that look like this. They're not just swinging because there's no quantity available. There's no supply left of this card. Like I said, there are only 13 cards. So already, these ones are a little bit more expensive, like I said, but still plenty of them for under $20. So you could purchase out a bunch of these. This is what I'll do. When I have the money, I'll say, okay, well, all of these from reputable sellers, $17. I'll buy out these first, whatever, 5 or 6, and then the next available one is $35. And that looks like it's a CGC 8. So if you bought out all of these other ones, the only one left available would be $205. Now, of course, that doesn't mean the card is worth $205. but it's certainly not gonna just be worth 17 anymore. All right, let's check out another one. Another one here is the Alakazam EX. This one was very cheap, but also insanely low quantity. Again, this says 26, but up here, if you look, says there's only 6 available. Let's scroll down. Looks like it's somewhere in between that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 available, but if we're being honest, there's really only more like 7 because these down here are worth $62. And the ones up above are, well, even this one, this is $20 shipping. I don't know why people do that. I think it's just a new seller, as you can see here. But up here, you got $6, $6, $7. So really, you've only got like 6 available at a reasonable price. And that's it. It's just crazy, man. And then what is this card gonna be worth? I don't know. Again, this is another 9, 10-year-old card. And again, another popular Pokemon, beautiful full art. This is another one, a little bit different because it's a little bit newer, had a little bit higher quantity, but I just really liked it, and it's Snorlax. So the Snorlax V from Sword and Shield base, there is, again, this says 152, but the actual near mint says 61. And they're all about $7. So this one is a little bit more of a long-term, slower play because it is much newer. It's only, what, 5 years old, 6 years old? So half the age is the other ones, but it's such a cool card. It's a V, it's Snorlax, full art. And let's take a look at the graph. Again, a very steady graph. You know, compared to something like this, the Shinji Kanda Magikarp, let's just take a look at the graph real quick. Very low quantity, but also $353. So as you can see here, look at this graph. Yes, so if you got it for $190 and then sold at $400, yeah, you did really well for yourself. But 99% of you, including myself, are never gonna get in at the bottom and sell right at the top. And then it drops back down almost half price. And sure, certainly over time, it goes up over time, but these cards, these really popular modern cards, swing massively. And as you can see, like this older one, much less growth, but still good, 57% over the last year, and just steadily growing because they don't have the quantity to replace it. All right, let's look at one more. This is another one that I purchased. There's about 15 left in near mint, the Gyarados GX. I love this card. A lot of these cards I'd never even seen before. This is kind of before my time of collecting and investing in modern. Back in this time, I was collecting and investing, but it was solely in the WotC era. So again, from sets that are just not even that great, like Crimson Invasion, but it's old. Like I said, 10 years old. So let's scroll down here. Huge price jumps. That's the 3-month, 6-month, and the 1 year. Again, just some minor dips, of course, as you're always going to have, but not like you saw with like the Magikarp. It's just steadily climbing up 154% over the last year. Says there's only 35 available, or 15, probably somewhere in between there. But again, this card, a little bit over $10, but $14, $13, $15, $15, $15. So all about $15. Let's go to the second page and see what's available here. So yeah, $15. And then again, you get to, 7 of them are basically not really even on the market because they're $300. This card isn't gonna be $300 if you buy out all the $15 listings. But it will certainly be worth more than 15. So this card only takes maybe, what, $200 to buy out the remaining stock, and then there's none left under $300. That's the formula that you wanna look for. Low quantity, high demand Pokemon, already aged sets that are not being reprinted, there aren't that much quantity left available, and back then, you guys have to remember, the Pokemon card company was printing way less than they are now. Way less people were into Pokemon in the mid-2000s. They just didn't care about it that much. So I sort of already alluded to it a little bit ago, but my personal favorite strategy for doing this is to kind of wait until I have the money to, like I said, buy out all the copies that are at a reasonable price. Like if we're talking about that Alakazam EX, save up $70 so you can buy 10 copies, or better yet, $140. You could buy out all the copies that are at a reasonable price, and now none are left available. Let's just say I bought one of these cards for $10, say I bought 20 of them. So that's $200. That's a hefty chunk, but I got 20 near mint copies, and now there are none left on the market. And then collectors see this and they go, oh, well, I'm gonna list my copy at $60. Well, you didn't just 6x your money. most likely what will happen is someone will list it for 60, then someone will do 50, 40, 30, and it'll settle around somewhere in that range, maybe the $20 range, but you already doubled your money. And you got beautiful cards. Like all those envelopes I showed you earlier are all these cards that I'm talking about. And some of them I'll grade, some of them I'll just keep in a binder, some I'll sell raw, but I get to collect and invest. That's what I love about this hobby. Well, that's about it, guys. If you appreciate the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help. That's about it. Peace.